All right, everyone. Sorry to say it looks like it's not going to be updated tonight. The Icarus mod I used, so I can't really play Icarus until it's does. So we're going to just play some Warhammer 40K Inquisitor Martyr. I over the weekend, while I was waiting to see when the update would come out, I was playing some and got up to like level 67 on an Inquisitor on season 5, the season of Judgment. I just have one thing left to complete for tier 2, and it should be enough for us to have an episode of it at least. I need to complete like 9 more random missions, and then I'll be done with the event. So that's what we're going to do this episode, is we're going to do that. So, I guess for anybody who doesn't know, Warhammer 40K Inquisitor Martyr is a action RPG game of Warhammer 40K. You can play as various classes. You can play as what's known as a Crusader. You can play as a assassin. You can play as a psyker. Crusaders all about up in your face stuff. Also can do flamers, shotguns. Assassins are sniper rifles, blades, stuff like that, dodging mechanics. The Psyker is your magic caster and things like that, with the downside of if you go too deep into the psychic heat, you will start summoning extra enemies or other things can happen to you. Then they had an expansion for the game called Prophecy, if I remember correctly, and it released some more of the main campaign story, and we got the Tech-Adpet here, who is the summoner of the game. We have a bunch of drones we can have fighting for us. They've also since expanded even more. They had the seasons start up, so there's been 7 seasons so far, if I'm not mistaken. And now the seasons are not seasons really. There are things you can do at any time. From seasons 1 through 7, you can play them at any time. The game now also has an offline mode. They also released 2 extra classes. There is the Battle Sister, who is kind of a combination between the Psyker and the Crusader, in that they can do ranged items. They have a ultimate form they can take and stuff like that, which unfortunately is kind of useless, and stuff like that. And then there is the other class that they just released, maybe about a year or so ago now, I think, called the Hierophant. And the Hierophant is a summoner class, but instead of using like bots like the Tech-Adpet does, it uses the other classes of the game. So as a Hierophant, you can have a minion Crusader, a minion Psyker, a minion Hierophant, a minion Tech-Adpet, and a minion Assassin, and all that stuff. I actually don't think you can have a minion Tech-Adpet because they would have their own minions, so they just have the others. You can't. I don't think you can make a minion Tech-Adpet. But yeah, you can make all the others your minions as your deal. Because in the game, you're supposed to be an Inquisitor, which is in charge of other, kind of like other classes and stuff, basically. You can have your own retinue. And that's what they call the classes that the Hierophant can control, is a retinue. So yeah. And it's not in depth as if you were playing, the regular classes, but they do have their own skill tree. They are able to equip weapons and stuff. They don't have the full inventory system, but I think they can have a weapon. I think it can have one signum. I think they can have an armor, and I think like maybe 1 or 2 more of these things, but that's it. They don't have the full equipment set. They don't have also a second set of equipment that you can use and stuff like that. Their passive tree is actually only one tree. Like it would be just one of these. You don't have all these other trees you can do. That's only for your own hierophant. The other classes only have like maybe, I don't know, 15 to 20 skill points they can use up as you level up the classes and stuff like that. It's kind of cool. It's just really involved, and I just really didn't want to play that hardcore of a summoner. So I went with the Tech-Adpet. It's one of my favorite classes in the game, besides Crusader. And I am playing a summoner. The Tech-Adpet is mainly focused on using what is known as the Cataphron Destroyers, which are these guys here. Their whole thing is doing like AoE damage and stuff like that, and being kind of a little bit of a tank, but not really. They are kind of squishy, but they do all long range stuff, and they have they have 4 weapons you can choose from, and I'm using the Phosphorus Blaster, which does long range AoE attacks, and then I have the Grav Cannon, which is a long range beam attacks. But I have a talent in my character under offense. I think it's this one in the bottom right. The Grav Cannon's crush skill and area of effect. So now the Grav Cannon does area of effect damage. So basically, they're all about taking out a bunch of heavy enemies and stuff like that. They can take out the boss and stuff. It does take a little bit longer. But mainly because they're not like concentrating on the boss all the time. They have all these other enemies around the boss that they're taking care of and stuff like that as well. So it takes them until they really get the minions out of the way, and then they concentrate on the boss, and then the boss pretty much melts. So it just takes it a little bit to get to it. But let me go over the character real quick for you. So I am level 67. So I'm here. The max level is 100, all the way at 100. The attributes are these right here. You get 3 attributes per class, and you can concentrate on any of them that you want. You can do various things to get an attribute point specifically for one of the attributes, or you could get a free point that you can put in anywhere. I have mine broken down into logic and bionics. I'm kind of ignoring Mind Link because Mind Link is all about damage reduction and max data flux. And the way my summons work is that they reserve my data flux, and there's no need for me to get more data flux because I have enough. I have enough with just unlocking them that I can summon like 5 of them at a time, or 4 of them, whichever it is. I think it's 5. Bionics gives me suppression, HP and suppression. They also give me some energy shield stuff for defenses, resistance, all that stuff. So more defense. The logic is all about damage that they do and I do and stuff like that. At this point of the game, I'm really concentrating on them doing damage, but eventually once you get to the point that you're doing like heavy late in game, your gear is all kitted out and things like that, the minions just don't last. They just die too quickly. So you have to eventually switch it to you're doing something else with your character. You're not with this character. You won't be really doing damage personally. You have auras that are around you to do your damage yourself. The minions are there to just soak up extra damage and contribute what they can. They're not really there to do damage. They're there to survive and stuff like that. They're not really there to do damage at that point. But right now, at the point I'm at, the minions are taking care of almost everything, pretty much. I have 4,720 hit points. I have suppression. Suppression is like a kind of shield type thing, in that the more that you have a shield suppression that goes from like overwhelmed to surrounded to protected. And as you get lower and lower suppression, the more and more damage you take, basically. It's kind of like a shield, kind of. Data fluxes are like mana. There's dodge, there's damage reduction. Max damage reduction is 80%. If you get the supreme effects, without it, the base cap is 60%. You really kind of just want to get to the base cap, but if you can get up to the 80%, you'll be golden for like in-game stuff. These are all your resistances. I think like 35% is the max on them. I can't remember. Yeah. So then there's suppression, damage reduction, energy shield efficiently. Basically another shield you can have on you to protect your health. And then we have base damage, which for me doesn't mean much. Critical hit chance is really important to get, and then critical hit strength. Critical hit chance is your chance to hit criticals. Critical hit strength is your chance to do a lot more damage as you get more of it with your crits. And then critical damage is your multiplier, so you want critical damage as well eventually. But the main thing is to get critical hit up to 100%. So we can crit all the time. And then once I eventually get in-game gear, basically what's going to happen is I'm going to crit the enemy with an aura I have. They will then get shocked, and when they get shocked, they explode. If they die while they're shocked, they explode into explosions that do damage, and it kind of causes a chain reaction, and pretty much everything just dies at that point with all that stuff. So I have 40% movement speed right now. Data flux. Vulnerability effectiveness is how much vulnerability I afflict. The enemies, when they get vulnerability on them, take more damage from those that they have vulnerability to, and stuff like that. We have perks. Each class gets 3 perks. There are some that are kind of locked to certain class archetypes, but you eventually can unlock them later on. But I have Electro Surge, which gives me movement and attack speed to constructs. I have, where is it? This one. I have Unfettered Movement, which gives me 20% movement speed when my suppression is in the protected state, which means it's just green on my above my health bar. I'll show you the suppression later. And then Cold Weak, which gives plus 50% damage bonus against enemies affected by debuffs. I have gear that makes me inflict debuffs and stuff like that, so they will get 50% more damage. If I didn't have it, I could use something like Ad Hoc Subjugation, which adds vulnerability stacked to target based on the damage type on critical hit. But this really doesn't come into play really until you have, higher crit, like at least 50. As for my gear, it's nothing special. I just recently got this rifle. The main reason I'm using this rifle is not because of the bonus it gives me. The critical hit chance is the biggest thing on this thing. It's the only thing worth anything on here to me. But the other part is that I have all these slots I can socket stuff into. And having the little engram things, you can see them going from the top down to the bottom, the 10% damage bonus because it's burning enemies, and then later, those 4 things combined together, and I think they have to be in that order, will create that bottom thing of the weapon where it says creates a damaging aura, deal 100% damage per second. That is mainly how I do damage, and then you can crit with that, and if I crit with that, eventually, if I have the item I'm looking for, I will shock the enemy. The enemy will then explode and deal all the damage. I have the first part, basically, of the build. The chance to cause generic vulnerability on hit is just a really good one. I hope to eventually get better ones that do the same thing. I just need to get a higher tier of shard. And the 7% warp damage bonus is just extra damage on top. But yeah, this weapon, the only thing special about this weapon is the 8.5% crit chance. Everything else doesn't really help you. I have this, which gives me a chance to add general vulnerability when the target gets a debuff effect. So anything I debuff them with, if that debuff have a vulnerability for it, they will get that vulnerability for it. Really, really good. It just depends on what I have to debuff with. I have a damage bonus against burning enemies. Still, the biggest thing on here is the crit hit chance. Biggest thing. The biggest thing on this one is actually the first line, but it also has like vulnerability effectiveness on it, stuff like that. That's mainly what it's there for. This is my inoculator. Basically, this is my health pot. It gives me movement speed +3 to bionics, which gives me the bionics, gives me more points into my bionics here. So I now have, instead of 8, I have 11. And that gives me 10% suppression damage reduction. So I take 10% less suppression damage. It also has these little slots on them. And the color of them makes them depend on what they do. So something red mainly is a healing. Something yellow is support. A bonus effect, basically. And something green is kind of like something that improves your inoculator. So this one is the basic thing of giving me 10 HP per second for 5 seconds. So that heals me a pretty good bit. Then I have 2 murder dust. You can stack them. Basically, it gives me 10% supreme critical hit chance and 40% critical hit strength for 20 seconds on use. So for about 20 seconds, I have probably about 40 something percent crit with what I already have on my gear. And then this just gives me extra inoculator capacity, which means I can use it more often. And the cooldown, I think, on this thing is like 15 or 17 something seconds. I have this Technomar investment. This is my armor. It gives me HP and suppression gain on kill by construct. This is actually really helping me survive. This is the main reason I'm surviving right now. Also, these little circular things like this, when they have this kind of icon right here, this means I have another slot to have a summon. So this weapon gives me 3 summons, this armor gives me 1 summon, and then this thing gives me my last summon right here. This belt is nothing special. Basically, the only reason I have this belt is to give me movement speed when no enemies are present. The Thunderbolt of Authority on hit taken is not bad, but it's not really important. The 16% chance to use Inoculator for free is really nice to get. So I could technically have more than, I think I have like 6 of them. So I could technically get a free one and get a 7th one for free, 8th one for free, just to be able to how often it triggers. This Purity Seal is not really here. The only thing it's got is the shock on hit, slow on hit, and movement speed. Everything else is just stuff I don't need. Damage reduction when suppression status is protected is pretty nice, but suppression can go down really quick if you're not careful. I just recently got this. I figured I looked this up. There is a site you can go to look up what these deals will turn into. It's not a bad one. It's better than anything I had, so I decided to use it. Warbringer Frenzies. This is basically what this does is give you a late game in-game deal. This game has what's called enrage tokens. Basically, this is your main mechanic when you get to in-game. Enrage tokens like give you a bunch of bonuses and stuff for when you get them, and you can stack them up, and they do get higher bonuses, of course, and it's like damage reduction, crit, all that stuff, and it just gives you a lot of stuff. Basically, that's what that's here for. That's why you want to get the crit really up. It's basically in-game stuff, and then also it's got a gain HP gained on critical hit is nice. Heat vulnerability on heat damage dealt is nice. Damage bonus when suppression status is protected, you know. Then I have this. Applies general vulnerability on hit. So another way to apply general vulnerability is really good. Bonus for AoE skills, bonus for poison effects, shock on vulnerability skill hit. So not the greatest, but it's decent right now. This one we'll never be able to use because it's diamond forged. There is morality in this game, and there is radical and there's Puritan. I'm on the Puritan side, so I will never be able to use this piece of gear at all. I even can't use the Puritan side, even though I'm all the way over here. I don't have it unlocked where I can use the ability from the Puritan armor yet. But this one is a Daemon Forge one, so I wouldn't even be able to use this anyway. Gives us the ability to teleport away from potentially lethal blow in a random direction. 10-second cooldown. Not the greatest thing. Chance on hit. All hits are guaranteed critical strike for 3 seconds. Kind of nice, but I need the slots really. And while I can put the slots on them, they are expensive to do. Here's an inoculator, 35% inocular effect duration when an energy shield is active. Not bad, but it doesn't have a red one. I'm personally looking for an inoculator that has 2 reds and 2 yellows. That would be my in-game inoculator, but I would need to get that and then get one that has a good ability on it, which is taking stuff. Take a while. Data flux cost for summoning skills for 2 seconds on kill. It's not really for me at all. Let me check this out. Let me see if I can bring up the ancient relic viewer here. So what does this do? It is a radium carbine. Let me go to weapons here. Go to radium carbine. And then change it to a turreter. So damage bonus for every active turret, tarantula turrets, flame stream skill, leg as a gun shoot, and missile launch. So nothing I can use at all. So this is just going to turn into junk. I'm not using turrets at all. Unfortunately, this is a purity seal of concussion. I'm looking for a purity seal of anguish personally. A purity seal of concussion would give us damage bonus against stunned enemies, is basically it. And it does give crit damage and crit hit strength, but it does not get critical hit chance. So it's kind of useless for us. In Anguish one, the one we're looking for, gives us damage bonus against slowed shocked enemies, which we want to put on our enemies. Damage bonus against slow shock stunned. Efficiency, so slow and shock effects. Gives us resistances and cooldown reduction for all skills, which is kind of useless, but it is what it is. This signum adds a vulnerability target based on the damage type on critical. Okay. Well, I kind of want to keep this and use it, but it doesn't have crit on it. I can keep it to see if I can roll it later, but I might get something better later, but I'll put it in the box to keep. Next attack on hit shaken. Okay. So this has crit hit chance, crit hit strength, and a critical hit chance for the next attack when I get a hit taken against me. Kind of don't want to get hit, but I could work with this. It would probably be better than that one, the relic one. The Archotech relic would probably be better than the relic one. But I can't use it until I get at least one more level. So that would have to go in the box as well. It's 4.5. That's not much of an upgrade, and the other stuff isn't worth. Yeah, the other stuff isn't worth. So we'll just get rid of that one. Okay. Let me go to my storage. I'm going to put this one and this one in, and I'm going to get rid of all of that. And as they're high tier stuff, I want to take it apart to get the salvage for crafting purposes later. I still haven't unlocked the full crafting tree yet. I still got to get these 3 before I get the full power of the crafting tree. It's going to increase my money by my money cost by 30% for both of these, but then this last one reduces it down to like 5% increase instead of 30%. I just have to get enough what's called fate to get it. And that is, oh, I have enough right now to buy one. So let me go ahead and grab that. I have to get 250 fate. Sorry to say. Fate to get that. I'm working on my next stuff here for getting more auras and stuff, but it's going to take a while because they are kind of a pain to get. As for my passive trees, I'm still in the leveling phase, really. So I'm still using like the the offense. Eventually, you just remove the offense because they don't do no damage at high level content. But right now, I have their offense picked out. They just do like there's bonus damage to ranged AOE. Damage bonus for every 1% reserved data flux of constructs, because I'm reserving all my data flux. Basically, this is like a bunch of bonus constructs for each existing constructs. I have 5 of them. Attack speed for the minions I'm using, and then their AOE effect, shield drain, life drain to keep them healthy as much as they can be. The defense, I have the resistance, and then I have the damage reduction to constructs, and then I have them immune to dots, and then they immune to knockdown effects, and then like I think this is all like 30% damage reduction for them all right here. In constructability, I just have this middle section, which gives me attack speed for all my constructs, movement speed for all my constructs, and then data flux gain when constructs kill enemies, more for tougher enemies. This is kind of important. You may not think so, but this is a little bit important when you when your constructs die, because they can die to the boss enemies, and if you need to re-summon, this helps a little bit. Then I have my debuffs. I'm just now finishing off this tree. I had to actually take points out of it to put off into defense over here to get their damage reduction up, because they were just dying too much. But I've almost refilled out this tree. And when I get this last one, that's when I'll start like mowing down enemies again with my constructs, because damage bonus for each debuff effect on the target is going to be big. I sometimes have like 3 or 4 vulnerabilities on an enemy at a time, and then they just melt. Construct specialization, I just have this middle section and this one here. This gives me a little bit data flux regeneration, area of effect for constructs, and then a damage bonus for area effect for constructs against the big enemies, basically. Then I have the defense tree. The main thing is just getting all this outer line here and this middle line, and then this one here. This gives me physical resistance. This gives me warp resistance. This gives me heat resistance. This gives me damage reduction as added to dodge, so sometimes I can just dodge stuff. And then this last big one gives me a revive. If I die, I get 1 revive, basically. As soon as I finish out the debuff tree here, I need to especially either get heats or get down to health. I think I'm going directly for health because I'm getting kind of squishy. I would like to get the heat effect because I now have the aura that gives me heat effect, and I would love to get up here that gives this. But I definitely need to get the health tree. It's my biggest need right now is to get more suppression, more health, regen, all that stuff, because I am squishy, like seriously squishy for my character. And that's pretty much it. So let's go do a thing. So like I said, we're working on my last deal for this part of the season. I just need to complete 20 missions, random missions, and basically I hit tab and this comes up, and this is where I do the missions. So I just need to do 20 of them. Doesn't matter the level. So I can start all the way down here at level 65 and go. I think I'll start like here at the yellows. Purges are okay. They're just you know, they're kill everything on the map. So it could take a while depending on the map layout. Rescues are annoying in that you have to go to a certain spot before these guys die and take them to a point on the map and they escape. Same with a panic room, basically the same thing. The panic room is a little bit better than rescue in that the panic room is one where their enemies are trying to break down the door to the VIP, and if you kill the you just need to get to the door before they open the door and kill the VIP basically. Demonic incursion is just basically killing a lot of enemies, same kind of like purge. Hunt is hunting down usually 3 different things on the map to kill. Siege is, you know, siege. There are 4 fortified areas occupied by any of your tasks. Capture all the 4 by clearing them of all enemies. Nurgle infestation is destroy several Nurgle breeding sites. Let's see. Demonic incursion. Dorsori work gates. Let's see. Is there any others on the map? No, that's it right now. I think there's like 1 or 2 more, but we'll go for a hunt. That's the easiest thing to do. Okay, so this is it. It gives you the map layout, and the map is not blocked out. You can actually see the map when you go in. They just reveal it to you to start with. So basically, we need to hunt, eliminate all high-value targets marked on the map to complete the mission. There's usually 3 of them. And then we have the Uther's turrets that you eventually unlock as you play through the campaign, or if you somehow skip the campaign, they are unlocked automatically for you. There are only 2 you ever need to really concentrate on early on. Early on, there are 2. The Possessed and Venom. You would think you would want Murder as well, because Murder gives you XP rewards and stuff like that. You do not need it. I leveled this whole character in 2 days, which is slow with just not using Murder at all. I just played it normally. I played through the whole campaign of the Tech-Adpet and stuff like that, and completed some side missions and a couple of random missions, 1 priority assignment for a deal I needed to complete season 1 of the part 1 of the season achievements, and 1 Void Crusade, and I'm level 67 without Murder card, so you don't need it. I didn't do intels, which give you a bunch of XP as well. I didn't do those. I just did what I said I did. So the reason why you want to do Venom, it gives you more tarot cards. Basically, it's your thing of getting more tarot cards. So basically, as you level up your Venom card, you get more and more tarot cards, which means you can level up Venom quicker and quicker. The thing the game doesn't tell you, but the community has found out, if you max out this upgrade progress bar, but you don't click the hammer to upgrade the card, you don't get these cards anymore. They will only give you the cards of what you have unlocked. So this upgrade progress is at 48 of 50. I did this I got to level 2 yesterday, and I'm already at 48 of 50. And I was like, I had like a lot of other cards that were like 7s, 6s, 5s and stuff, and I've done lock them down to where only Venom is being upgraded, which means I'm upgrading Venom quicker and quicker, which means eventually when I want to upgrade any other card like Possessed, which increases my chance to find Psalm cards, they will eventually start dropping more and more, and I can upgrade them faster and faster. That's how it goes. So let me go over the cards that you want in the game. There's 3. 3 really only, and eventually once you get to late game, you only need 1. Venom is your early go-to. You always want this card. Even when you go and max it out at the first level, you only need 10 cards to max out the first level. Don't upgrade it until every other card says their upgrade progress is stopped. Don't upgrade it. And then once all they're done, you upgrade Venom to level 2, and you will only, whenever you get a tarot card, it will only turn into the Venom card to upgrade it further. And then after you do Venom, I would next go and do the Possessed. This is a personal opinion. Other people say do only one other card. I personally do the Possessed. That way I can increase chance to farm Psalm codes, which gives you your buffs and stuff that you can socket into your gear. And then if you haven't unlocked it yet and you don't think you can do the arch enemy, do Treasure Trove. A chance to gain duplicate item for each one in the reward pool. So yeah, this would be your next one to upgrade. It also adds 2 levels to the mission, which means the mission is 2 levels higher than you started as. So since this level is 69, if I added this card, this would turn to 71. And then it gives you all reward bonuses plus 80%, and then a chance to gain a duplicate item for each one in the reward pool. There is various items that the various quests give you and stuff like that as a end of the mission reward, and this doubles it, basically. Has a chance to double it. But once you no longer need the treasure trove, the best thing to do is Arch Enemy. It does the exact same thing, but 10% less all reward bonus. But it does give you a chance to gain a duplicate item for each one in the reward pool. But it adds 11 levels to the mission. The reason why this is important, this is not really needed until you get to end game, where you are like level 90. Because level 90 gear only drops when you put the level of the mission above 100, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a long time since I looked into it or even thought about trying to get to that point. But if I remember correctly, level 90 gear will only drop when the level of the mission is above 100. It's the only way to get level 90 gear. They do that to entice you to beat higher and higher levels. So this is your big thing at the end game, is adding 11 levels to the mission for things. So, yeah. So I'm going to choose my normal, which is the Possessed, to get more Psalm codes, and Venom to get more deals. It also buffs the enemies. They do various things. The enemies will now reflect 3% of warp damage, which sucks for me, and then 25% damage bonus for melee enemies, and they are armored. Now, it's not that bad as you think for this. I'm only going to put those 2 cards on. I only ever need those 2 cards right now. My weapon has a socket in it for doing warp damage. I don't care because I hardly ever shoot my gun, so it doesn't really matter. And my guys, I don't think do warp damage anyway. I think they do only like heat, physical, and stuff like that. So here's me. I'm summoning in all of my guys.
Against the defenders of mankind. Perhaps we should find their leaders and give them a fair
Oh, right. I was wondering why it's not working. Yeah, keybinds are kind of important. Pushing forward will do nothing for me unless I change my keybinds back to defaults. There we go. Now we have all 5 of our guys. All right. So basically what I do is first I bring that up. Let them... Oh. Okay. It's outdoory. I was fixing to say, is it construct? Because if it's construct, that's going to be dangerous. Let me go over here. That's just a bunch of money dropping. Okay, there's nothing over here. I just, like, destroyed a ton of barrels is why all that dropped. That's really how you get credits in this game, is destroying, like, these yellow barrels and other deals. And if you have this ore, you can just kill them as you walk by instead of having to shoot them. Now, if I need like a damage bonus or something like that, I can just push my 6 button and my crit chance will go up, and then my aura will start critting easier. But I don't have like the shock component yet, so it's kind of useless to do that. I mean, critting will still hurt them a lot more. But my minions right now, like, they're fine. They can take care of all of it right now. The only time it's ever really kind of a question of if they can take care of the enemy is when they is against bosses, really. Minions, no problem. In fact, it's really good to go even if you could get to a boss right away and kill it. It's better with the way this is set up to go against minions anyway, because as the minions kill enemies, they are getting shield with their shield drain, which means they're tankier, which means they'll last longer. I have been reaching numbers of 14. Why is this here? Where am I? Oh. Oh, interesting. Okay. Oh, an extra chest. Cool. How nice. Okay, well, extra treasure chest for me is nice. It's a little bit of it's what's known as a side quest. If you run missions, you can get these things. They're not anything important. They just teleport you to a area that has like an extra chest and some extra tough enemies in it. Basically. It's basically all it does. But it is kind of important because for whatever reason, they decided that you really need to unlock a skill tree by doing that. Which one is it? Complete 15 side quests. You can encounter these during open world missions. It's needed to unlock the suppression tree, which is actually kind of an important tree once you get to end game. So yeah, they I don't know what the developers were thinking at that point when they first did that. It just, I do not care for it personally. But yeah, as you can see, they already have like it's like 7,454 shield, which is higher than their health. So they basically have double health right now. Here's one of our here's one of the enemies here that we need to kill. Is this a mention of getting the guys over here to do the damage? Also be careful. Some of them like to explode as well when you kill them, the bosses. So since it's those things, they will always explode on kill, so we need to be careful of that. Okay, no chest. That's why I was checking the corners. I like putting chests in corners. And little offshoots here. In fact, if you're doing a Void Crusade, always check those corners and stuff. Check all around the area, because that's how they like anything. See? If there's only one of those guys around, they just pretty much melt them. It's just when there's a lot of other enemies, they have to kill the little enemies first before they'll concentrate. And there's no button to force them to attack one. I could personally attack something and they'll move kind of closer to where you are, but they don't actually attack what you're attacking. They'll just kind of move closer. So see this guy, he moved up just a little bit. Just a little bit when I'm attacking, but yeah, they don't really do it. They'll just attack what they want to attack, really. Now, there are, as you can see, this little icon right here, there are shrines in the game. And if you're in a season, they're more often than not going to be the shrines of the season. So as a Shrine of Judgment, when I click on it, a bunch of enemies are going to spawn that you have to kill within a certain time frame. And then they drop a crap ton of loot, basically. And it's real good loot as well. So you always want to do the shrine when you get one. And also, as you can see, there's a little marker over here to the left. This is like a seasonal buff thing. It gives you like a bunch of stuff. So I have Emperor's Judgment. Slaying enemies marked by your Bolt of Judgment grant 0.2 bonus damage and 0.1 sprint movement speed per stack. And then I have an Enraged State. This is from my token. I'm actually surprised I have 20 of them right now. Yeah. Here's the boss, and he's just going to melt like crazy. There's a chest for us.
Watch the body wander aimlessly until it withers and dies.
Now, that right there... That right there, this chest right here is a regular chest. That chest we saw in the little secret area that we went through the teleporter through was actually a seasonal chest, which drops better loot. There are seasonal chests. Regular chest can turn into a seasonal chest. Also regular chest. Oh, here's the seasonal mission. I'll talk about that in just a second. Regular chest also has a chance to be a Damien chest, which will have a one Damien bound to it that you can like just melt pretty much instantly, no matter what level you are, and it gives out decent loot as well. But more often, and there is another chest that is kind of like a long, thin chest that you can click on, and when you click on it, early levels it doesn't give you anything. It's just a trap that you activate and you kill like turrets and stuff. But eventually they start dropping things later on. Okay, so there's also another seasonal mechanic in that as you kill the enemies, especially the enemies at the Shrines of Judgment that I talked about a second ago, you will get what's known as Shards of Grace from them. You collect the Shards of Grace, it upgrades your seasonal mission, and it turns it into a boss mission. Never ever do a seasonal mission without it being a boss mission, basically. I now have Crisis Management, which doesn't help us at all. We got 20 fate for getting 20 for influence in that one system for that map we just did. And then we got these as rewards from the Holy Orders. This is your in mission reward, and the cards would double this. If it went off, you would get double. Also, it would double the item type as well. It would give, so if it went off on that weapon, I would get 2 weapons instead of just 1. All right, so we got some psalm codes. We also have these, which are stuff that goes into my construct to give them boost, but I don't need them. Not those types anyway. I'm looking for, I'm not looking for motive or offense. I'm looking for endurance and fortification. Early on, you want everything to be offense, but if you can afford it, you then eventually later on, you want endurance and fortification to give you tankiness, basically. 14% massacre effect. I already got one of these. I'm not going to keep this one. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I have it in an eye implant as well. Stay 5 meters are shocked. No, that's not it. Yeah, here we go. 12 Berserk tokens on a massacre effect. 14 on a massacre effect. Berserk is the other way. Berserk is actually better than Enrage, but it's a lot harder to get going. Takes a lot more gear. Not bad, but I want what I have on my other one right now. The move speed, shock, and slow on hit. So this unfortunately is kind of useless for us. We didn't reach level 68, so we can't use that other Signum yet. None of these have high crit chance, so not worried about those. Also, we unlocked some of this, so our damage reduction when suppression status is protected is now 12%, and we have another 9.5% movement speed. We also have +3 bionics, and our kill commander creature on your level higher is at 4 of 20, and killing horde creatures. We haven't run into horde creatures yet, so these things are kind of useless to us. Experience gain is the most experience gain and movement speed are the most important stats you'll want early on. But once you reach the point of where I'm at right now, you would like experience gain, but don't take it at the point of where you just die all the time. Slower knockback on hit is useless. Damage bonus for constructs if player kills an enemy is useless. Okay. So the rest of this is useless, which means I go in here, click this button, salvage that one, salvage that one, salvage those. Those are the Architect relics, so they don't have a button. They want you to really think about if you want to get rid of those or not. Also, this implant right here is kind of what I'm looking for. When in raid state, enemies with 5 meters are shocked, but there is one that's a little bit different. This is kind of be like an early game one. I might have to eventually use this one, but the one I'm looking for, let me see if I can find it real quick. Is it a main implant or, no, it's a belt item. So it would be this item right here. I'm looking for one that when in enraged state, enemies with 5 meters are shocked. So we have that on the eye implant, but I'm looking for, where's the other item at? Uh, there's another item I'm looking for and I'm done lost it. Oh, right. Okay, that's different. That's different. Okay, he went the other way with it. Interesting. Okay. So you go with that, and then you have the, yeah, you have that. Okay. So what I'm looking for is the what I'm trying to build actually. So I have the first part then. Unfortunately, it's going to conflict with my enraged. So I really can't use this, unfortunately. I need I'm looking for, okay. So I'm looking for this effect, the enraged token on critical hit. I want that actually on my neural implant, this thing up here. And then I could put that other eye on, which when I'm enraged, enemies are shocked. And then in my chest slot, I want a Psalm Doctrine, which is what this thing is down here. The one that creates that bottom text of creates an aura dealing 100% heat damage per second. I'm looking to get a 6th one, which gives me shocking an enemy, creates an explosion in 3 meters radius and around the target, dealing 120% base damage as heat and applying shock. So basically, that's what I'm looking for. Um, that gives me my effects that I'm looking for right there. That yeah. So I'm looking for one more deal here. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. I think it's the one that gives me 10% energy shield, plus 10 energy shield per hit, is the one I'm looking for. I think that's shield drain. No, hold on just a second. I'm gonna have to look this up on the deal. Uh, so what I'm looking for is a transonic palm, a Nova Psalm, and then the next one I'm looking for is an Icarus Psalm, and then I'm looking for an Aegis, then a Animus, and then a Technomater. So I'm looking for an Icarus, which I haven't got yet. Double check them, but I'm pretty sure I haven't got an Icarus yet. And an Icarus, yeah, that's what I'm looking for. This will give me the shocking an enemy creates an explosion in a 3-meter radius around the target, deal 120% base damage as heat, and applying shock, which means chain reaction. And then the other one I'm looking for, which I'm got this up here, a Novosom, a Voltic, and then I'm looking for a Transonic, which I got one. Oh, I have them right here. Cool. I didn't know I had more. It's control, I think. Yeah. So this right here will give me killing a shocked enemy creates an explosion, causing shock and dealing damage equal to damage from the killing blow. So it kind of goes together. So I need to get a 3 deal. Let me look here. So a 3. I could put it on like the main implant. I don't know if it'll do this anymore. I think they might have changed it. Yeah, the other ones say it, but this one doesn't. But his gear says it does, but his is from back in when it was season 5, I think. So inoculator or main implant. I should be able to do it. I have enough to do it, so might as well. So let me go. You can't craft from storage, so I have to go grab them. Yep, it's still 6 constructs. Cool. So shocked enemies explode on kill, dealing area damage equivalent to the killing blows damage at heat and 3-meter radius, applying shock effects. So cool. So it's here, but it's not really going to do much right now. I do have the ability to shock enemies on hit. So that's not a problem. The problem comes in when it's just that. I only have this. A 4.2% chance to shock on hit. And that only affects me. That does not affect my constructs. So as soon as I get the ability to have both Enrage token on critical hit and that other deal of when in enraged enemies, which age state, enemies within 5 meters are shocked, I will be in enraged state when I, crit. And I can be in a rage state up to 20 stacks. So as soon as I get those two effects, I will start melting enemies. And as soon as I get the 6 slot effect of making them apply heat as shock, then the chain reactions will start. As you see, it just goes. All right, let's go do the season deal. So the season quest. Eventually, they will tell you you have upgraded your season quest to a boss quest. That's what this is. And you can upgrade it again. I think you can upgrade it to 3. So you could do it up to 3 times. I always just do it up to 1 early on because it gives me enough, really. But it's like, I think there's like 3 different map layouts. It's always a purge. You always have 3 boss enemies to kill as you go through. I'm going to put on this and this. Before I do though, I'm going to check something real quick. Go to go in here. Okay. I need to click this twice. And then now my Venom cards are now maxed out. So if I go back to here and click on this and I go to Venom, I can now upgrade it. It's now level 3 and now I need 100 cards. But as level 3, it's going to drop even more. So now as level 3, I'll deselect it and reselect it to make sure it's properly put. And then all reward bonus plus 135%. And then I can go back to my character, go to this thing again, go down, click this twice more. I get 2 more Venom cards. So I'm already at level 2 of 100. And then I can start this. Enemies reflect 2% all damage as warp damage. So now it's all damage, not just warp damage. And 50% damage bonus for melee enemies. Don't stand in melee. But it really shouldn't be a big thing. There are some melee bosses, but there's not that many. You usually run into like ranged bosses more often in this game. There are some, like I said, but not that many.
100,000 wars. There is no respite. There is nowhere to hide. Across the galaxy, there is only war.
And also, as this is a purge, you have to kill all enemies. But this is pretty much a straightforward map. There isn't any offshoots really, or anything like that the enemies hide in, like some other purge maps. This is actually pretty much just straight up it. You don't really have to worry about trying to hunt down enemies or anything like that. I'm just going up there to double check there isn't like another deal. I have some type of perk requirement or quest requirement or something that will give me a good point. If I open up like 100 or so of those health chests, so I've been opening up every one I've seen. I also open them up because every now and then I use my deal. As you can see, I'm still a little squishy, but not too squishy. Okay. Now this is where it gets kind of dangerous, is these guys. They have these missile attacks that would just melt your guys.
One last push and the victory is ours. Today.
And also be careful, don't go up to them after they die, because they do explode on death. And that was the mission. Now there's always at least one chest. In this mission, there's always at least one chest and one shrine. And then the bosses to get items from. Also, if you're wondering why I'm not picking up these blue items, is because I don't need to. I don't need blue items anymore. But also the what do you call it? There's an auto loot deal in the game. It's not really a filter but you can set it to where you only pick up certain rarities of items. It's just off in the options menu, the gameplay one. If you scroll down, it's this right here. And you can set it up to where you only pick up certain rarity of items. Okay, so we got a bunch of items right now. So let me go in here and chuck stuff in. We got a crafting blueprint for the vestment. Okay. That's a force field. Here we go. Fabric scatter field. Okay, so that's nice. Fabric scatter field is kind of like one of those belt items. Let me see if I can craft one or not. Force field. It's like one of these things. Basically gives you like damage reduction and things like that. I don't think I can make personally one of those scatter ones. But there is one that's like a scatter one or something like that. Let me see if it's off in the all list somewhere. No, it's not in here. Okay. It may not be something I can access as a techno guy. See if it's off in this list here. No frag grenades, fusion grenades. No. I think it's just, I don't think I can access it as this character. But basically it kind of acts like a shield. And that's kind of what you want your force field ones to be. So now I need to take off something. Take off this one and put on this force field one. So basically this gives it a fabric scatter field on hit taken, HP gained, and energy shield for regenerating shields, basically. Basically just buffs them. We also have a motive one, but this just gives a damage bonus. This life drain is pretty good, but it's better not. Oh, it feels so good. It feels so good. Jesus Christ. I was just talking about this. So give me that. And then we want to switch this out. I wish it had crit on it, but you can't have everything. Slow on burning skill hit is okay. And then, yes, put this on. Nice. Okay. So, now I have it. Okay. So, 13 suppression damage bonus for constructs, minus 1% spread, which does not matter. Melee damage bonus is completely dead. Okay. Well, I'm going to keep these two just in case I, for some reason, need to switch back for some reason. Oh, that didn't put off in there. That needs to be put off in there. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, I'm on to my next deal. Okay. Oh, shit. Do I do it? Okay. So this is the big thing for this season. If you want one that's a teleporter item, this can roll on various things. This one, it's got a fabricator. So this is the fabricator. Deals area damage around the caster, knock back, and knock down effect. That's basically what it is. It's not bad. The big thing, though, is the deal. 28% chance to trigger a judgment spell on hit. This is like OP in this season. It's really much better when you're like on a melee character because you're in the thick of it and it'll go off faster. But the thing of it is this does tons of damage, has no cooldown, and so you pretty much just kill everything with this, really. But like I said, it's not really the item I'm looking for. What I was looking for is like the teleporter, and then you can do this one with the enraged status shocked thing that I just got on the eye implant. But it's not bad. There's also the main implant where you could get the one of wrath, which gives you more maximum tokens. So the thing of this is I would be giving up one of my constructs if I use this. I can try it out. But I just lost one of my constructs. So yeah, I'm down to 4. I'm just going to go ahead and take these off. And I'm going to put them up here. Just put all that up. It might be worth it. I have the enraged on shock now, so it might be worth it. I'm not sure. Suppression gained on critical hit. Not bad. But I'd rather have what I have on the other parts of that. Desert tokens. Shock. It's 56% chance to shock in a rage state on hit. I don't think that's worth anything. Nah. Nah, that's not worth anything for us. I'm gonna keep it, but it's not anything for us. Because we have the one that gives us enraged state with enemies within 5 meters are shocked. So yeah, that doesn't really help us at all. If we didn't have that, it would be fine, but it's okay. That's an interesting one, but I don't think I want that. It actually has some decent rolls on it. It's got the movement speed and the bionics on it, which is really good, but I don't think I want to get rid of what I have right now. If it was definitely 2 yellows and 1 red and then either another yellow or another red, I would definitely switch it. But as it is right now, I don't think I want to. To get invulnerable for seconds and exposed. Nah, this is useless. The exposed states only comes in when you basically have no suppression, and if you're in no suppression, you are dead. No matter how much damage reduction you are in, you are basically dead. It is not worth it at all. Slow enemies on critical hit. While nice, I don't need that. It does have a little bit of crit on it. Nah. I wouldn't want... Nah. It's interesting, but no. Um, I mean, it may be an upgrade, though. Shit. Slow enemies on critical hit. Not bad. Shit. I'm just filling up my stash at this point, but I'm going to keep that, but that's it. Okay. Take all those, and then take that. Go sell the rest of it. Okay. Well, we just got a major upgrade in that thing. You know what? How many slots can I put on? I can put on 2. I think I know at least one of them I would want, right? It would be Uncreator, right? Yeah, I would want that one. And then this. Okay. I'll take that, and I can socket another deal on it. That's the wrong one. I need forging. Expensive, but I need it. Okay. And then if I go to my inventory and slot those 2. There we go. Now we have 50% vulnerability effectiveness, which means they have worse vulnerability, and then reduces the target armor by 5% per hit for 2 seconds. So if I run into armored enemies like that, I was just in that boss thing for the season, and one of the buffs was that they're all armored. So that would help us out with that. Okay. So I just need, what was it again for? Oh, damn. This is, sorry, I was hoping to be able to do this whole 9 deals, but I'm not going to be able to. Yeah, I need to get this, I need an Icarus Psalm is what I'm looking for now. So yeah, I definitely don't have that. So I'm looking for an Icarus Psalm, and then I'm gonna need a lot of money. Unless I find like a 6 open slot armor. I'm gonna need a lot of money to add 6 slots to mine. But it is what it is. Yeah, it's already been an hour. Damn. You know what? We're gonna do one more. We're gonna do like we're gonna go do a 71 hunt. We're gonna do red. We're at 67. I think we can do this. I think we can do this. I think we can do this. Let us see if we can. With what we have now, I think we can do this. I probably need to pop a inoculator straight up to get the crit. Oh, I forgot about that being not a thing anymore. Okay.
Perhaps we should find their leaders and give them a fair share of their own medicine.
And there's the explosions going off. And basically, I'm no longer a minion build. Basically, that's kind of, I'm kind of no longer a minion build. I am basically, I just run into things and it dies. That's basically my build right now. If they aren't too tanky, they just straight up die to an explosion, basically. Now, the bosses are going to be a problem. Ah, shit. I'm now stuck. I don't know why. And I don't know what the hell happened over there. Sorry about that. That was weird. Okay. I have no idea what that was about. Sorry about that. At least I got it fixed now. Now, see, I don't have the chain effect yet. I'm very squishy, as you can see. I haven't gotten the full effect yet. As you can see, my health is going up really quickly because of all the enemies I've killed. I just have to, you know, kind of not stand in the trash. Also, as you can see, I've got the 8% bonus damage bonus per enraged token. I maxed out at 20. There is a piece of gear that you can get that will increase that by like up to 14 or 15 or something more. So I really don't need to use my inoculator anymore to get crit. I just need to use my inoculator to use my inoculator to heal myself. That's basically all I need to do it for now. Got to be careful as well. There are some explosive little barrels and stuff that you can run into that you need to be careful of when you got ores and stuff. Also, it's very hard to see enemy on death effects with this, so you do need to be very careful of that.
You severed the head. Now you can watch the body wander aimlessly until it withers and dies.
I'm just going to see if there's like another chest or something I can grab. Is the only reason I'm still going. Really, if you want to be the most effective at this, you would want to stop and go do another, just go ahead and start another quest. But that's it for me. Okay. They go quickly. It's just, it's the sorting out of the gear that takes the longest. Especially when I just got all that gear that just was straight up like a big upgrade for me. Hallucination? See, and I don't attack, so I don't consume tokens. Chest throwing grenades, weapon placements. Yeah, I don't know what hallucination does. Let me see if I can figure it out. 40% miss chance, minus 20% move speed, 5 seconds required suppressed. Ah, so they have to be suppressed for that to take effect. Okay. I mean, it's something at least. I'm not sure what I would replace though. Okay. Well, I'm keeping it. But yeah, no, I can't use this. Wish it was on another item, maybe like main implant or something. Because I do have the thing that gives me, the judgment spells on hit. So it would go together with it. I just don't think I can do this one. I don't think it would give me enough. I don't know if 28% is enough to replace crit on hit. I don't think it is. This is nice, but I can't use this on this, so I'm just going to get rid of it. Fear on crit. Okay. I think there is an Archotech relic deal that gives you that, but it's guaranteed. Yeah, it's the when in rage state, enemies within 5 meters are feared. So there's one for that. So yeah, I'm not going to worry about that. Physical damage. No. Okay, nothing else. I don't think I have... Yeah, I do have one item, but I can do it after this. Alright. Salvage that. Wait. I don't know why it got favorited. I guess I accidentally clicked it. But that's okay. Huh. 14. I'm almost there. Just need another point and I can get 15, which is a lot of resistance for us, so that would be nice. All right. Unfortunately, I did not go as far as I like because I got all that equipment and I had to change all the gear. I was not expecting to get that at all. But okay, well, we got like two missions in. We're at 13 now. If the update for Icarus Mod doesn't come out, we'll do this again tomorrow. So I will see y'all later. Y'all have a nice time, whatever time it is in y'all's part of the world. Bye.